This is Diversity Beyond the Checkbox bonus content where we get personal with our inspiring and accomplished guests after the interview. For the full podcast, visit beyondthecheckbox.com. Okay, let's get into it. Josh, let's talk about TEDx. I have a couple of friends that have done TEDx, and I personally, only a few years ago, went into a panic for every single speaking engagement, including podcasts. Tell me about that process for you. Were you terrified? What were you feeling? Was it easier the second time?
So I've done 2 TEDx talks. I think it was 2017, 2019. Yes. The first one I was extremely nervous, very, very nervous. What I have found for me as a process is that I work best when I'm not reading from notes when I do a talk, whether that's a TEDx or an otherwise. So the process that I use is I write out the talk as I believe it will go. I work as hard as I can to memorize it practicing with the slides. Yeah. And then the day of the talk, I let it go.
Wow.
And I don't take notes out with me. And internally, then the mantra, if you will, is 1, I know this content back and, inside and out.
Sure.
2, it's exciting to get to share with people, just like we talked about earlier, having language to be able to talk about an experience or a story they can relate to. And 3, that also gives me a little bit of wiggle room based on what I may have been experiencing in the event itself. So I kind of take all 3 of those things and then walk out, and what comes out is what needs to come out in that moment. And generally it's never exactly verbatim what I've written, right, but it can be pretty close. And for my second TEDx talk, and then for my one of my recent talks, a Disrupt HR talk, there, the whole center third of the talk, I don't actually remember. And I was like, oh, I wonder why I don't remember this. So I talked to someone that works with speakers, and I was just describing, and I'm like, it felt like it went really well. It felt great when I got off, but I don't actually remember a third of it. So I had to wait to watch the video.
Wow.
And what she said was, that's because you were so present that you weren't critiquing, you were not observing yourself and critiquing yourself that you were going to say the right thing. You were just flowing with the information that needed to be shared.
Wow.
And when that was articulated for me, I was like, okay, like that, I'm glad to know that that's more of a positive than a negative, but it has been just interesting in terms of what does that process look like, especially moving from the first talk to the second talk.
Wow. That's so amazing because, so many of us, whether it be TEDx or starting a business or so many things, are afraid to take that step. And I love that you stepped into that, sharing so much necessary content and opening perspectives to really understand what uncovering is. And then, it resonated with so many of us, right? That, yeah, I've certainly covered, or I'm still covering, right? In the workplace particularly, but also in our personal environment. So Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Josh, what do people often get wrong about you?
I'm very observant. I am very highly sensitive, and I listen a lot. And when all of those things combine, it can make me look kind of serious. And I, a variety of times, have either been told that I am intimidating, or maybe I have resting bitch face, or people were really unsure how I felt about them. And so that is one of the things that they make the assumption about either my relationship to them or that they can't actually come up and talk to me. And it's just, I love to engage with people. I love to learn about people, and I'm very inquisitive, but I also am very thoughtful. And sometimes that doesn't translate outward as thoughtful to people. So that's one of the assumptions people make about me that isn't necessarily true. So if you meet me out and about, I welcome you to come up and say hi.
I love that, Josh. I'm going to tell you, I'm the same way. I'm very often thinking about what people are saying or thinking about what that means in the context of the conversation. And so then I have this look on my face that can be very unapproachable.
Yep. I feel ya.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing that. And then what is the one thing that you can't live without?
So I'm going to respond to this based on daily life scenario.
Yeah.
I'm going with chapstick.
Okay.
Since phone is not an option and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not carrying a DSLR camera with me daily, camera would be a number two, separate from a cell phone, but it doesn't really count. Chapstick. I did,
Love it.
when I was in my teens, I did like a full round of Accutane. And I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you're familiar with Accutane, but it
Mm-hmm.
is so obscenely strong
Strong.
for
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of acne and just demolished my skin.
Mm.
And so ever since then, I have just obsessively used chapstick to the point where if I leave the house and I don't have chapstick and I'm going to a day long event, I'm going to have to buy some before I go,
Wow.
or that's going to be something that in the back of my mind by the end of the day, I will be thinking about.
Wow. I love that. Now, have you tried a lip mask?
I have tried a lip mask.
I'm obsessed with lip masks right now.
My friend gave me one, and she gave it to me because I forgot my chapstick.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Here's this lip mask I have." And the scent is wonderful and it is good, but it still doesn't long term solve the daily needs. So I do
Ah.
have one, but it's more of a short term fix
Uh-huh.
than a sustained one for me.
Sometimes those old school things like a Great Lash mascara,
Yeah.
you just can't go wrong with those old school products that keep working, right? I love that.
Exactly.
Josh, we're going to go into a speed round with this or that questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Board games or video games?
Video games,
Hmm. Photos or videos?
photos,
Group hangout or one-on-one hangout?
one on one hangout,
French fries or onion rings?
onion rings,
Hmm. Share food or don't share food?
share food,
Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram,
Shopping online or shopping in the store?
in the store, 100%.
Huh. Tattoos or piercings?
Piercings,
Hmm. Plans or surprises?
plans,
Me too. Pizza or Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Awesome. Josh, thank you again so much. This has been so much fun. One, we got some great insights, and I appreciate that. And two, it was great just getting to know you a little bit.
I've loved this, Jackie. Thanks for having me and can't wait to see how it all turns out.
Thanks, Josh.